Hey everyone, welcome to Snapkeep Videos. This is Ulysses, and this video is being brought in part by LGS that's really close to my heart, Gamers and Geeks. It's located in Mobile, Alabama. If you're ever in Mobile by chance, feel free to stop by. You guys will have a great time, and yeah, let's get into today's video. As you all know, Modern Horizons goes on sale officially tomorrow, and players are already brewing, and some of them are adding cards to established archetypes, while others are constructing brand new strategies altogether. Not to forget some cards, either finally seeing play in Modern via the reprints and whatnot, or fresh designs that are making fan favorite decks viable again in a competitive setting. Some of these cards are providing the missing piece, like to the puzzle, so to speak, that's keeping those decks from being competitive, or a tier deck, if you will. In this video, I will be discussing my picks for the top 15 cards I think will undoubtedly see play in Modern. This list is in no particular order whatsoever. Just cards that I believe will eventually see play either right away or at some point when the meta shifts and whatnot. Before we start, if you enjoy my videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. Subscriptions are the easiest way to keep me doing what I'm doing and putting out videos for you guys. So smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the bell if you want to be notified when I put new videos on. So without further ado, here we go. So right off the bat, these 5 cards will most certainly see play in Modern. With the set being called Modern Horizons, I think it's fitting that these are called the Horizon lands, and they're essentially the same thing as Horizon Canopy. The only difference is that they make different colors. Obviously, you get the enemy colored dual lands, and these cards are called Waterlogged Grove, which is the blue-green one, Silent Clearing, which is the white-black one, Fiery Islet, or Islet, which is the blue-red one, Sun-Baked Canyon, which is the red-white one, and last but not least, Nurturing Peatland, which is the black-green one. So these cards essentially, like I said, function as Horizon Canopy in decks that have the colors, or their respective colors, and they should fix your mana, or if you flood out, pretty much allow you to sack them and draw a card. So these cards will most certainly see play, some more than others. I think Fiery Islet will see more play than like Sun-Baked Canyon, for example, but I think Nurturing Peatland will probably see play in like Rock or Jund strategies, and Waterlogged Grove will probably most certainly be played in Infect. But yeah, these first 5 cards, I grouped them together because they pretty much do the same thing. Up next, we have Scale Up. Now, this card most certainly will see play in Infect. 10 out of 10, this card will see some number of copies in Infect. You can tell that Tom Ross had his hand in the creation of this set, because, I mean, turning your creature for 1 mana into a 6/4, be it a worm or whatever, it's crazy. So Scale Up definitely will see play in Modern. Next on the list, we have Unearth, the old 1 mana black sorcery that brings a target creature from your graveyard with converted mana cost 3 or less to the battlefield. It also has Cycling 2, which in Modern does see some play in decks like Hollow One or Living End. So this card rather, I think we'll see play in Grixis Death Shadow before anything else. But we'll see what happens. Maybe like a Goryo's Vengeance kind of deck maybe can utilize it somehow or some way. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with Unearth in Modern. Next up, we have Collector Oomph. It's a 2/2 creature, green for 2 mana, a generic and a green, and essentially it has the static ability of Stony Silence. So paired with Karn the Great Creator, it's probably going to see play in Modern, basically because of what it does and the fact that green decks don't have to splash for white to have artifact hate. Sure, it's a creature and it's probably going to be targeted like most creatures are, but it's definitely going to see some sort of play, in my opinion, I think in Collected Company or any kind of green-based strategy. Up next, we have Shenanigans. 1 generic, 1 red, sorcery, destroy target artifact, and the keyword that makes this card playable is Dredge 1. Now, Dredge already has Ancient Grudge, but I think this will probably replace it in some number, maybe even completely, because of the Dredge mechanic, and I think that's why this card is on the list, is because Dredge needs some more dredgers, essentially, to keep the engine going, and also because of what it does. So destroying an artifact is great. It'll get rid of your ensnaring bridge or get rid of your Grafdigger's Cage. So I think this card will definitely see play in Modern Dredge. Next we have Unsettled Mariner. It is a 2/2 creature, 1 white, 1 blue, shapeshifter, and it's also a changeling, as you may have guessed. But it also has something else in the text box. It says, whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless its controller pays 1. So decks like humans, decks like merfolk, any kind of tribal strategy that can afford to play white and blue mana of some sort, will definitely see a benefit in playing this in the sideboard or maybe even in the main board. So I expect to see this card in humans, spirits, or merfolk. Up next on the list we have Renin 6. Now this is quite possibly my favorite card that I'm going to mention today. It's a 2 mana planeswalker. That's right, 2 mana planeswalker. Comes in with 3 loyalty, and the first ability is a +1. Return up to 1 target land from your graveyard to your hand. The second ability is -1. Renin 6 deals 1 damage to any target. And then its ultimate is -7. You get an emblem with instants and sorceries in your graveyard have retrace. Now that right there is just nuts. I never in a million years thought that Wizards of the Coast would bring back retrace. I thought it was a very busted mechanic. I love it, don't get me wrong. I am a big 8-rack player, but I didn't think that we would get a card with retrace again. But here it is. So this card I think will definitely see play in Jund, or any kind of red-green strategy, obviously, like maybe Scape Shift, maybe even Dredge because of the +1 being like a pseudo Life from the Loam. But I honestly love this card. I love everything about it. The artwork is amazing, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see this card in some sort of aggro strategy even, to aggressively fetch for lands and being able to get them back from your graveyard as opposed to waiting to draw them. So yeah, look out for Renin 6. I think it'll definitely see play in Modern. This next card, I believe, will go hand in hand with Renin 6 in whatever list plays it. Ayula's Influence. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a 3 green mana enchantment, and it says, discard a land card, create a 2/2 green bear creature token. Now this card in a deck with cards like Life from the Loam or Renin 6 seems kind of absurd. Now I don't think it's busted enough to see play in Modern right away. I think if you have a deck with a little bit of resiliency that you don't get just murdered in the first couple turns, you may be able to find some sort of synergy with this. But I think it's gonna see somewhat of play in Modern, maybe as a one of in like a green deck, mono green Stompy or something like that. But I just love this card, so I had to put it on the list. Next we have Kaya's Guile. Now this card I think is just crazy. I think this card is absolutely bananas. It is 3 mana instant, 1 white, 1 black, and a generic. It is a dream for Obzon mid-range players. It is amazing. I was just floored when I first saw this card previewed. It is a instant that has multiple modes, and you get to pick 2 of them. The first one is each opponent sacks a creature. Keyword there is each opponent, so it doesn't target, gets around Leyline and any kind of hexproof effect. The next one is exile all cards from each opponent's graveyard, again getting around Leyline. The third one is create a 1/1 white black spirit creature token with flying, so 1/2 of, actually 25% of a Lingering Souls. And then the last one is you gain 4 life. In addition, it has Entwine, which is a mechanic that allows you to use every mode. So like of all 4 of them, you get to use all of them. And all you have to do is pay the Entwine cost. In this case is Entwine 3. So you pay 3 in addition to the casting cost of this card. So 6 mana essentially, 4 generic, a white and a black. And you get to do all 4 of the modes at instant speed. If that ever arises in the late game, I mean it's crazy. It's just, it's like something you get to do that, it's just crazy. I don't even know what else to say about it. Next on the list we have Seasoned Pyromancer, a 2/2 creature for a generic and 2 red. It's a human shaman, and this card is crazy. This card is most definitely going to see some play in Modern. I think this will be the card that brings back the Mardu Pyromancer archetype from its hiatus that it's had recently, especially with the resurgence of humans, because that's why that deck was created. It was just to take down humans when it was the #1 deck in Modern. So this card essentially is a young Pyromancer mixed with a Faithless Looting in all aspects of the word. You cast it and has an ETB ability that you discard 2 cards, and if those cards are non-land cards, you get a 1/1 red elemental creature token. But you also draw the 2 cards. So it's like Faithless Looting. You discard 2, draw 2, and then if those 2 cards, or for each of those 2 cards, you get a 1/1. So if you discard 2 non-land cards, you get 2 1/1s. If you discard a non-land card and a land, you get 1/1/1. And yeah, it's crazy. It also has more text in it, believe it or not. For 3 generic and 2 red, you get to exile the Seasoned Pyromancer from your graveyard and then create 2 red elemental creature tokens. So even in that, it's kind of like Faithless Looting. It has a flashback ability of sorts. So this card will definitely see play in Modern at some point in the near future. So be sure you guys pick up this card if you want. It's a mythic, so it's probably going to go up in value. So if you see it, and you see it for a good price in the near future, you might want to pick it up before it skyrockets. Next, we have a card that finally gets to see play in Constructed, in my opinion, and that's Sarah. We get a Planeswalker version of her, and it's Sarah the Benevolent. She is a 2 generic, 2 white Planeswalker with 3 abilities. The first one is +2, creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until the end of turn. The next one is -3, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. And her ultimate is -6. You get an emblem with, if you control a creature, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's because that's worship. You get an emblem with essentially worship. So if you get a deck together that has Sarah the Benevolent and like Geist of Saint Traft or something like that, your opponents are going to have a hard time beating you, because whereas worship can be blown up by some sort of enchantment hate, you can't deal with emblems yet in Magic. So this card was probably it's definitely gonna see play somewhere. 4 mana, a 4 mana Planeswalker usually always sees play in Modern at some point or another. So I think this card will definitely be in some mono white lists, maybe even Soul Sisters or blue white Control. So don't be surprised if you see Sarah in Constructed in the future. Now, this next card is kind of a head scratcher. It's a new card, new to the game, but it's reminiscent of an old goodie from back in the Legacy days, the Power 9 days and whatnot. This card's called Echo of Eons. It's 4 generic, 2 blue, sorcery, that reads, each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. The flashback cost, however, is 2 generic and a blue. Does that sound familiar? Yep, just like Time Twister. Time Twister is a card that's considered by many to be really busted, therefore making it a Power 9 card and not playable in Legacy. But the fact that Wizards made a card that's essentially the same thing for a format that is very easy to get cards in the graveyard to cast them for a flashback cost, especially when the flashback cost is exactly what the casting cost of Time Twister is. I just find that funny. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is Wizards' way of testing the waters for abolishing the reserve list, or are they just printing cards because why not? So I'd love to hear what you guys think on this one. And last but not least, some of you probably guessed it, the next and last card I think we'll see play in Modern is Flusterstorm. Now, there are a few players that are divided in this assessment. Some people think Spell Pierce is just strictly better in Modern, and Flusterstorm is for a Legacy format because of the all-in strategy that Legacy decks tend to have, where if you don't have disruption right then and there, the game's over. You see the writing on the wall, unlike in Modern where it's like a grind fest. Not to say that Legacy doesn't have a grind fest, but you guys know what I mean. Flusterstorm is probably going to see play in Modern just because the deck Storm is still a thing, and people can still just flat out lose. Now, there's 2 sides to every coin, so Storm also has access to Flusterstorm, and there's a lot of storm in that sentence. But anyway, Flusterstorm will see some sort of play in Modern for sure to stop Storm from going off, and hopefully Storm doesn't get better because of Flusterstorm. I don't think it will, but we'll just have to wait and see. So Flusterstorm's definitely my last pick of cards that I think for sure we'll see play in Modern, without a doubt. I think you can only get it as a buy-a-box promo, so it doesn't come in the packs as far as I'm concerned. So if you want to get Flusterstorm, you're probably going to have to buy a box, or find someone who gets their buy-a-box promo and trade it off of them, or buy it off of them, or whatever. So I want to thank you guys for sticking to the end of the video. Those of you who did, you guys are great. Everyone else, you guys are great just for stopping by. But this has been Ulysses for Snapkeep Videos, and if you guys have any kind of comments or concerns or anything about Modern, drop a link below or drop a comment below, and hope to see you guys in the next video.